Congressman, I don't mean to harp on this, but when you look at how the events unfolded, one by one, Democratic leaders came out and called for the president to step aside. You had leaders like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, yourself, who's such an esteemed member of the House. Many believe that it was a coordinated effort to publicly pressure the president to bow out instead of doing it behind the scene. My question to you is, was there that sort of coordinated effort, and do you think the president deserved better?
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you?
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I didn't know she was Black. She was always of Indian heritage. Now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always identified as a Black woman.
I respect
she went to a historically Black college.
I respect either.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans have said?
I really don't know. I really don't know. Could be.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh, my goodness. Michelle, Brock, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Well, let me tell you, I have just the utmost respect for you. I have really enjoyed our work together. You understand our country. You have dedicated yourself to our country in so many different and beautiful ways. And we're going to do this. We're going to win. And we're going to unify our country and remind everyone that we are fighting for the future for everyone. So let's get out there and get this done, okay?
Let's do it. Do the work in front of us. Let's win this thing.
That's right. All right, buddy. I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Top of the hour, and the breaking news is big in this unprecedented campaign. This season, the likes of which we have never seen before. We have one more major development. Vice President Kamala Harris, the presumptive Democratic nominee now for President of the United States, has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe seen as a dark horse. Now he has emerged as the choice.
And this morning, she woke up and it came to her, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, and he is a winner. And he has a voting record that really lines up with Harris. After George Floyd was killed in his state, he passed a massive police reform package. He said that there would be no abortion under his watch. And on economics, he says the Democrats really need messaging. And Gail, let's talk about messaging and the power of one word. He went on television and he said one word. He said Republicans were weird.
Well, it's true. These guys are just weird. And it's, you know, they're running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something. That's what they go at. That's not what people are interested in. Oh, there's something wrong with people when they talk about freedom to be in your bedroom, freedom to be in your exam room, freedom to tell your kids what they can read. That stuff is weird. They come across weird. They seem obsessed with this.
The fascists depend on fear. The fascists depend on us going back. But we're not afraid of weird people. We're a little bit creeped out, but we're not afraid.
The Harris campaign seems to be following your lead, echoing this language. Why do you think weird is a more effective attack line against Trump than what Democrats have been done previously, which is argue that he's an existential threat to democracy?
Yeah, and it's an observation on this, and being a school teacher, I see a lot of things. But my point on this is people kept talking about, look, Donald Trump is going to put women's lives at risk. That's 100% true. Donald Trump is potentially going to end constitutional liberties that we have, end voting. I do believe all those things are a real possibility.
Being a military veteran, a former teacher, to a chairman in Congress, to an executive governor.
I'm telling you, there seems to be there's something appealing about a guy for people who say it's comfortable talking in a T-shirt and a baseball cap.
He can pivot quickly on policy, but and he's good at talking to voters. He seems to enjoy it too. I will note, though, he can sometimes fall into, as many politicians can, he can have gaffes, he can misspeak, and sometimes in almost a way, he is almost a little Biden-esque in how he addresses some issues. Now, the thing is to want to talk to voters, to be able to talk to voters, but there is that risk sometimes of him misstating things or misspeaking that can cause those gaffes that can hurt a campaign.
And what about constituents, voters in Minnesota? How do they feel about this? What is Walz's reputation there?
I think it's hard to say, because I think with any politician, you're going to have fans and you're not going to have fans. And we've even seen a lot of people chiming in on social media, prominent Minnesota figures chiming in. Tom Emmer, House Majority Whip, first person that I saw tweet this morning said it's not surprising Kamala Harris picked Tim Walz to be her running mate. He embodies the same disastrous economic, open borders, and soft on crime policies Harris has inflicted on our country in the last 4 years.
Obviously, the big news of the day is that Tim Walz has been nominated as the VP, is now the presumptive nominee, I should say. My view on it is it just highlights how radical Kamala Harris is. This is a guy who's proposed shipping more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to make the American people more reliant on garbage energy instead of good American energy, and has proposed defunding the police just as Kamala Harris does. Because, of course, Tim Walz allowed rioters to burn down Minneapolis in the summer of 2020. It's more instructive for what it says about Kamala Harris that this is a person who listened to the Hamas wing of her own party and selecting a nominee. Well, it's not what I believe, it's what the Democratic leadership has said. Many people said repeatedly that the reason Kamala Harris was going away from the Josh Shapiro selection is because they were worried about anti-Semitism. They were worried about certain voters. They were worried about some of the leaders and the grassroots activists in their party wouldn't take a Jewish nominee. I think it's despicable, but that is right out of the words of many members of the Democratic leadership.
Looking at Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
They won't do any interviews, but they will provide content like this. Tim worries that his white guy tacos won't be spicy enough for Kamala.
Like I have white guy tacos and
What is
like
that?
black,
Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota,
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand
We'll figure
my food knowledge.
We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, Tim, what's your relationship to music?
Yeah.
I know that in this presidential cycle, you guys are very accustomed to press conferences from the Trump-Vance campaign and from the vice president and Governor Walz. You really don't hear anything at all. They interviewed each other. That was pretty cute, Brian. Actually, they had a little interview. That was cool. White guy tacos. I guess that's a thing. Except Tim Walz even lied about that. He won Al Franken's cook-off for tacos, actually making good ones with green chilies. The point is that we have to be transparent.